Y'all are gonna have to deal with that. So my dad fucking called me down for food. He's like, oh, it's really good. I have like 2 bites, and I'm like, Dad, that is way too spicy for me. Like, have a bite of it before you go and like tell your kids it's done, there's food. Specifically when you know one's like, I'm sensitive to like any heat in any food. Like, specifically, like, a lot of people should know what I mean by heat, but like spicy food, like, I'm super sensitive to that. Like, way too sensitive. I was younger, bell peppers, and like, those are like the least spicy thing ever. Like, they do have a little bit, but like, it's not even enough to like, it's like more sweet, if anything. Like, especially after you cook them, like, it just goes away. Something About Mary. And I'm like, okay, this is like a stupid fucking shitty ass movie that I'm like, I don't even want to watch it. I don't want to. This apple got all bruised up from my fucking hike because my brother's like, with my backpack. And I'm like, can you not, like, do that? But yeah, as I was talking about in the other live stream before, I was like, food! And screaming at us about food. I was talking about, like, my best friend coming to California with me. And I'm like, that would be so fucking awesome. And I don't think she'd care too much, like, if it was, like, her birthday and stuff. Because, like, we could celebrate out there. And, like, get her mom on FaceTime and shit. And I've been, like, thinking, I was like, oh, hey, Nermina, like, because I was going to text her after, like, this live stream and stuff and be like, hey, I was going to go to California, and I'm not sure when exactly, and it would just kind of be, like, with my Aunt Dina. And she always said, oh, yeah, George can go, too. And I'm like, hey, instead of George going, can Nermina go? Because George doesn't really care. Like, something I need to do beforehand is, because, like, I was gone last time for, like, a week and a half. And, let's just say my plants fucking died because my brother, I was like, hey, George, did you water them? Because I told him to water them before he left. Or before I left. I was like, water them? He says, yeah, I got it. Didn't even fucking bother to water them. And I was like, dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Plants. And I'm like, George, David, what the fuck? Like, dude, they're fucking dead. He, like, looked at, he, like, went outside and he's like, oof. And, like, he's just, like, on the phone with me. I'm like, dude, like, I'm hearing his reaction to, like, him, like, oh my god, like, I just fucking murdered my sister's plants. But that's also because they were out in the sun when I told him to water them. And this time I'm gonna bring them, like, in the shade patio area. Because they get enough light there. And they get enough to light to the point where they're not gonna fucking die. But basically, this trip is, like, in 2 months. And I'm like, oh, cool. Because my best friend, she starts working in April. So basically this month, pretty much. Or, well, for some people this month. Happy April 1st. In some areas. Here it's still, like, it's, like, 8, 9 o'clock, maybe, even. So we still have a little bit of time to go before April 1st. But basically in 2 months, it'd be like, okay. Her birthday. And we're going to, yeah. And I don't know if I don't even know if she's, like, allowed to go with me. Like, I feel like she should be allowed. And because it'd just be like, hey, you know, like, it's just me and Nermina can, like, we'll have, like, a gay old time. We'll have a gay old time. But it's like, well, you know, like, hey, it's like, can I bring Nermina with me or something? Because it's like, oh, cool, yeah, neat. Fuck yeah. I'm probably going to get my permit. So, we're going to be learning to drive. That'd be really fun, actually. I've actually been thinking about it, but, like, I need to get my paper that says, this is my attendance, like, it's like an attendance form type thing, where basically, hey, I haven't been absent enough. Like, I've only been absent, like, 3, wait, hold on. One time when I was really sick, and it was literally, like, the 2 days prior, I was in the hospital. And that was the only time. That was a justified sickness. Another time, I was actually fucking sick. And then one time, I just wanted to stay home. So, like, that's, like, maybe 3 days of one being an excused absence. And, like, so it's really only, like, 2 days that were unexcused. Because I forgot to turn in the note. So, really, in reality, that ain't too bad. That's just kind of like, oh, fuck yeah. Hated it. My dad worked like Cowboy Christmas, and it's like he didn't have time to pick me up for like a show one time. It was my fall concert for choir, and we do like fall, winter, spring, and festival, or festival and then spring. That's in the order. It's fall, winter, festival, spring concerts. And festivals just like something that we do every year for every choir, because that's like, oh, that's kind of a requirement that we need to do that. So that's like you get judged for your, it's pretty much like final almost, but it's like basically a really big test. It's like 200 something points, 250 just to be there. And if you aren't, then you can't make it up or anything. I mean, unless you have like, oh yeah, I had like stuff prior planned, like, or planned prior to this. So, yikes. Some people didn't go, other people went. But, what was I gonna say? I was about to say something. That fall concert. My dad, he was on a date and he was coming back, and the traffic is what made him late. It wasn't that he didn't want to go, it was just that the traffic, like, he was late, and like he was like maybe like 30 minutes, and my teacher's like, hey, you have a ride home, right? I'm like, yeah, my dad got stuck in traffic, basically is what I had to say, because my teacher is so thoughtful. He's like, also another time it was like I had to like wait outside because we went, it was like a boot camp type thing for chamber choir. I was like, okay, I'm down to do that. It's just that like I did that, and then there was something else that day. So like my dad didn't want to like, oh, drop me off there and then like drive me back and then drop me off again. So I'm just like, oh yeah, I have something later to do, so I'm just gonna like wait here, because like my teacher was like, because he like came out, he's like, hey, are you okay? You have a ride home, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's just that like he's not gonna come till late. He's like, well, how late? And I'm like, well, like it's just I have something else to do here. And it wasn't like rehearsal or anything. Like I was like trying to say, oh, it's like something over, like, because it's like it was more just like, oh, I have swim practice or something. Like it was just kind of like, it wasn't even swim practice. It was like a swimming thing that was gonna be fun, and it actually was kind of fun. But I was like really self conscious because there's like all these like, I'm thicker, like I'm kind of chubby. I'm 153 pounds. I ain't gonna lie about my weight. I felt really self conscious, but like I kind of had fun. There were like people that were like, "Oh my god, have you met my brother?" And like, my friend, like, her brother was weird. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, dude, he's like, look at my chest hair, and it's like this long, and I'm like, I don't need to know that. Cool, I guess. On the swim team together, and I'm like, I don't have time for swim. Like, I can barely swim. And then like it was heated inside. Like, it was kind of like a greenhouse inside, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm cold in there. Yeah, there were just like a lot of people that were just like, it's whatever. I don't like a lot of these people. It's funny because one of the guys there actually is dating my friend now, and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy for him. I don't know his name, but he's like an ROTC kid, and I'm like, I hope he's not a senior, because if he is, that would be weird for him to date a sophomore, and usually, unless it's like, oh, your birthday's like in December and you're gonna be 18 when they're like 19, kind of thing. Because my friend, like, she's gonna be 18 this year. And like her boyfriend is going to be, because his birthday's in September and hers is in December. So she's like a year younger than him, but it's like she's the same age as my brother, but it's like her birthday's really late in the year. So it's like, oh, that was, I guess it's more okay then. It's like, oh yeah, she, it's like, oh, he was 17 when they started dating. And it's like, oh, then he turned 18, and now it's like, oh, well, she turned 17. And then now it's like, oh, he's 18, so he's gonna be 19 when before she turns 18. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of just like, and people are like trying to say shit, and they're like, oh, isn't she like 15? And I'm like, she's actually gonna be 18 this year. Like, I know her. She's actually kind of nice. And like, because it's like they just kind of then he's more like the train wreck of the choir. That's kind of mean to say, but sorry, David, if you ever watch this. That's what we were talking. It's like, I got train wreck, and I'm like, we were talking shit about Riley, not you, but it's like they were like, yeah, he was a train wreck at one point. Y'all remember him? And they're like, oh yeah, I remember, like, because they were like in concert or something. They're like, oh yeah, him. I remember, an alcoholic or something like that. Like, there's something distinct about him that they remember. Like, oh, like the anime looking ass motherfucker. It's just like something very distinct. I'm like, oh, you kind of remind me of a stoner, low key. But at the same time, I'm like, I knew him because of my. He's like kind of nice, I guess. And then like he knew Danny and then Riley because they all lived together. Also, Riley fucking like was like in class. He's like having your ex live like a block away from you around the corner, and I'm like, dude, you're a fucking dickwad to her. Don't be fucking nasty to her back. Like, you fucking like, okay, this is gonna be like some tea, but like he had like her shit for the longest time. Like months after they broke up. And like finally like he returned it. And it's like he had her glasses, I think here he might have had them but they like broke or something, and like he just didn't want to give him like, hey, I broke your glasses. But like he had like a pair of her pants and like a picture frame and like teddy bears and stuff and like her perfume. Like that's pretty much all he had, but it's like, dude, that's kind of creepy that you had those. Like, no. And I feel bad for some girls who date him because it's like, if you're gonna, no. Like, that was just kind of creepy. And it's funny because there was this girl, like, I think she was like a girl in the choir, and like, they kind of dated for a brief minute. Actually, I might know her. Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh my god. I'm like, wait, she was friends with my friend. Wait, hold up. And like, I know this person now. I'm like, oof. I'm like, oh god, that's kind of creepy. I think I know it. And I'm like, ooh, that's kind of weird. The Great Gatsby. I don't want to read The Great Gatsby. My brother's like, oh, it's kind of boring. And then like I'm trying to analyze this, and like people are like, oh, da, 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 and then like commenting on her eyes and shit, and I'm like, it looks like a flapper who's crying, and the city isn't blowing up. It just looks like city nightlife where it's like layers upon layers of lights and stuff, and I don't think it's blowing up. It is blowing up. I think it's just like, oh, city of lights on the bottom. But it's like, heart attack. Zelda, and I'm like, skate fast, eat ass. That's Zelda way. And I like, okay, so like we're talking about like F. Scott Fitzgerald and like his life and stuff. Oh, this is what The Great Gatsby is about. And like, this is just our teacher's opinion. And I'm like, he acts like a know-it-all, and I'm like, sometimes like some of the shit he says I don't understand. And I'm like, what all, like, he'll know a lot of stuff. Like, he's an English major too. So it's like, yeah, he'll know a lot of stuff, but it's like the man's like been married like 6 times practically. It's like world, and he has a 5-year-old. Oh, at all whatsoever. I know a lot of stuff. I think like it's like he probably hasn't even like read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Cause like I'll like reference something from it and he won't understand it. That's funny. My teacher was like, apparently there's like a reference to a book in there, and I'm like, I get too excited about like, cause I'm a fucking nerd. So okay, first of all, like my stepdad was like, don't be an astronomer and an astrophysicist. There's like no jobs aside from teaching, and I'm like, oh. I don't know why, but in engineering, instead of using I, they use like J. And so my teacher had to say, oh, basically I squared and J squared are the same thing, which is, both mean -1. So I squared equals -1, J squared equals -1. And I don't know why it's J squared in engineering, like engineers, like that's the way they think it. Oh, it's not I squared. I don't know. I means it just for our purposes. It's like if you have like negative. That's not a pencil. Damn it. If you have like -9. Cool. Well, you can take the square root of 9, which is is assuming there's no little 3 in the there's no like little like number in the index, so you can obviously assume, oh, it's going to be 2, which usually is the case. So like, oh, okay, easy, but it's negative, so you have to put an I there. So like plus or minus 3i would be the answer, and that's as far as you can take it. Like you can't divide out an I for some reason. It's like I to the first. It's just I guess. The second is -1, so if this was actually on our test we had like 2 days ago, our unit test, it was something like 16 or -3 plus 16 I squared. So it's like, oh, -3 plus 16, because it it's like that's just how we use it most of the time now. And it's like, oh fuck yeah. And I passed algebra 1, by the way. I like finished it, and I kind of remember, but at the same time, okay, so like we were watching like a show or something. The guy had like, it was The Hangover, and like he's gambling, and like there's like all these like different like math formulas showing up, and I'm like, is that theta? Wait, that's sigma notation. And I'm like, I know what these are. What the fuck? That was my spit. I am so sorry. But I'm like, I understood what a lot of the stuff in there meant, and I'm like, I want to talk to my friend about going to California with me. Because it's like, hey, I'm going like at the end of May, early June, hopefully. Like, that's our plan, by the way. Like, this might change, but like, my aunt's planning on coming out for my little sister's birthday. My stepsister, by the way, Alyssa, it's her actual niece. Niece she has. She has step nieces like me and Ramatu and stuff, and that's pretty much it. She never had kids, and it's like, oh, I feel bad because at one point she did want kids, but she got, she's like, you know what, I haven't stuff. Why do I need to worry? And it's like, we're kind of integrated into her family, and I'm like, oh. But I want to bring Nermina with me, so obviously I had to clear that with them first, and I think it should be okay. Like, I'm thinking, oh, hey, as long as her parents are A-okay with it, it'll be fine. And it's like, it's gonna be like Dina. It's like, oh, it's Brian's sister. Like, it's practically, like, me and Nermina are practically siblings. And it's like, she's like gonna, it's like, she's just gonna be gone like a week with me. And it's like, oh, it's with Michelle, of course. Like, I'm her best friend. She's my best friend. We're Gucci. I'm so excited. I want to go to California with her. We've never been on vacation together. I'm gonna, like, lay down because my legs hurt. I went on a hike today, too, and it was actually really fun. I brought my brother got sunburnt. Like, you can see his arm, and it's, like, farmer's tan, and it's, like, freaking red. And I'm like, dude, he's fucked. Because he gets sunburnt so easy because his skin's white. And I'm like, I wore sunscreen. And only, like, right here is kind of burnt a little bit. Or, like, my arms aren't even that bad. My legs aren't burnt. I love the sun. I rarely go out nowadays because, like, I have nothing to do, and it's, like, kind of, and, like, oh, now it's, like, we, as in me and my brother, have stuff to do. We have to pull weeds in our neighbor's yard. Like, the side of the house weeds. So, like, not, like, their front yard, because that would be fucking absolute hell. And I'm like, Dad, can we just get, like, poison? And he's like, no. We're gonna buy, like, a gallon of it, and it's gonna be, like, $30, or, like, 5 gallons of it just to weed the lawn. I'm like, on their side? Like, no, you just dump that shit on there, practically. Like, that's pretty much almost all you need to do. And it's like, oh, fuck yeah. Oh my god, my back fucking itches. Ah! So I had this problem last night where it would not stop itching. And I could not get comfortable. So, like, I got a bunch of makeup off my skin like that, and that's, like, orange. That's supposed to be primer, by the way. And I'm like, I'm probably gonna bring that to California with me and just put it here and here and here. Excited. I didn't think about this earlier, but I'm like, hey, would it be okay if I'm gonna ask that, obviously, but, like, not right now, because it's, like, they're probably, like, getting ready for bed and stuff. So, like, sometime soon, like, hey, would it be okay if Nermina could come? Because that would be fucking awesome, because she's my best friend and stuff, and we're, like, family, so, like, I don't know. Like, I consider her, like, a sister, pretty much. And it's, like, her parents, I think her parents trust me more than a lot of people. Like, specifically, like, I don't know if, like, they trust him as much as they kind of, I don't know if they trust me, but, like, it's like, oh, yeah, it's, like, Nermina's best friend. Like, she literally was like, oh, the kid next door. And I'm like, it's, okay, so, like, her little brother has, like, a friend, Jeremiah, and he kind of the same situation. He lived across the street from us, but our little sister wasn't really friends with any of them, because my sister moves around a lot. But, like, him and Jeremiah, like, even though Jeremiah moved, like, he's, like, still, like, him and Meadow, like, still hang out, like, all the time. I'm like, Nermina, it's, like, us, but, like, on a younger scale, and they're boys. And I'm like, she's like, I know, it's really weird to think about. And I'm like, and apparently she dyed his hair blue, and she, like, was, like, playing with it, and she's like, Michelle, just for you, he wanted to be you. And I'm like, ah! Because I had my hair blue when he was a kid, and I don't know. I think they've always, like, kind of liked my hair, like, a little bit. Like, I don't know. At least I think he liked my hair when I was younger, like, specifically middle school, when, like, he was still, like, a little kid. He was only, like, maybe first grade. Now he's, like, gonna be in, middle school soon. It's funny, because I was gonna ask, hey, is Mr. Lord still there? Like, I'd love to talk to Mr. Lord again. But I think, like, one year, like, there was something with his wife or something. He had to leave. And so, like, we didn't talk to him for the longest time. It's like, he used to tutor my brother. Because my brother was really dumb. And, yeah. you're dumb if you have a tutor, but my brother was a fucking idiot. And it's mostly because he didn't want to do his work, is why he failed. But, like, at one point he was stupid enough to, like, oh, I'm not gonna do my work, I'm not gonna learn anything. And he just read and read and read, and so he actually needed a tutor. So, but I don't know if he's still there. And if so, like, I'd say, hey, say hi to Mr. Lord for me. Tell him, oh, Misha, like, should I be, like, fucking, like, 10 years ago? 10 years ago? He probably won't remember to be like, yikes. But yeah, like 8 years ago, it's like, Jesus fuck, dude, that's a long ass time. Oh, I should go ask her. I'll go ask her now. I'm excited. Ooh, my face is actually kind of burnt a little bit. Hold up. Oof. I got burnt my first sunburn of the summer. Wow. It's not even like summertime. It's only like slightly burnt. Of me not wearing sunscreen and me literally just wearing powder. But next summer, as in this summer, I'm going to wear sunscreen on my face a little bit because last time I got really burnt. But then again, like the sun is like kind of like low key, like when you put honey on something and it like kind of cleans it. It's like kind of like an antibiotic almost. It kind of does like the same thing where it's like you get less acne, like it'll all come out, but then after a while it'll just be gone. Like that was me like over the summer. Like I had like no, I had like one right here, and that was like brewing, and it was like kind of gross and nasty because it was like cystic. It was under my skin and it was gross. But like here was like the only real area where it's like I had to pop stuff, and that was just because my pores and stuff. But like here and stuff, like I didn't have like this. Back and I started getting a little bit of acne again. It's like, oh well, it's fine. And my back had like stuff, but like it came out like, and my back was really clear last summer, and I'm like, okay, hopefully if I go outside more, this will all clear up. So yeah, I'm going to end the second stream because the first stream was interrupted by my dad calling us down for food that was it's too spicy for me to eat. Howdy, I'm a baby. I'm a baby. I love memes.